Have a nice time, John. Today we will study about different proof methods. Given a mathematical result, we cannot accept it unless it is to be proved. Proofs play a central role in the development of mathematics and guarantee the correctness of mathematical results and algorithms. A theorem in mathematics is a true proposition. Many theorems are of the form H1 and H2 and etc. and Hn implies the conclusion C. That is, given the hypothesis H1, H2, etc. Hn, the conjunction of these all hypotheses implies the conclusion C. Given any theorem, there may have many hypotheses, and if all these hypotheses are assumed to be true, we can arrive at the conclusion C. Such a proposition in mathematics is usually known as a theorem. Today we will study how we can conclude that a theorem is true. There are different proof methods to show that a theorem is true. Following are the different proof methods we are going to study. First one, vacuous proof, then trivial proof, direct proof, indirect proof, proof by cases, and existence proof. So let us go in detail. First one is vacuous proof. Vacuous proofs. Consider the implication H implies C. We have a hypothesis H and it implies the conclusion C. Suppose that the hypothesis H is false. You know how to draw the truth table of H implies C. If H is true and C is true, H implies C is true. What happens if H is false? If H is false, then either if C is true or false, in both the cases H implies C is true. This is the situation here. We assume that the hypothesis H is false. Then we need not check whether the conclusion C is true or false. Vacuously, the implication H implies C is true. Thus, the implication is true regardless of whether the conclusion C is true or false. Therefore, if we want to prove that the implication H implies C is true, it is enough to show that the hypothesis H is false. If H is false, then regardless of C is true or false, H implies C becomes true. In this case, we say that the implication H implies C is vacuously true. So this is the first proof method, in which if you want to show that the theorem H implies C is true, we will show that the hypothesis H is false. Then H implies C is always true. This method is usually used to prove some special cases of some theorems. As an example, consider the implication if 1 equal to 2, then 3 equal to 4. We have to check whether this proposition is true or false. Actually, this is an implication where the first proposition P is 1 equal to 2 and second proposition Q is 3 equal to 4, and the proposition says that P implies Q. Here we know that the proposition P is false because 1 is not equal to 2. Therefore, we need not want to check whether Q is true or false. Vacuously, P implies Q is true since P is false. So this is the first proof method, which is known as vacuous proofs. Let us have some more problems to clarify the idea. Determine whether the implication is vacuously true for the given n. First one, if n greater than or equal to 1, then 2 raised to n greater than or equal to n, given that n equal to 0. When n equal to 0, this proposition becomes if 0 greater than or equal to 1, then 2 raised to 0 greater than or equal to 0. That is, we substitute n equal to 0 here. Now, we can note that the hypothesis is 0 greater than or equal to 1 and the conclusion is 2 raised to 0 greater than or equal to 0. Here the hypothesis H is false because 0 is not greater than or equal to 1. Therefore, we can conclude that the implication H implies C is vacuously true. If H is false, we need not check that whether C is true or false. So here the implication is vacuously true when n equal to 0. Next one, if n greater than or equal to 4, then 2 raised to n greater than or equal to n square where n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. So in the first case, we will consider the case when n equal to 0. Then the proposition is, if 0 greater than or equal to 4, then 2 raised to 0 greater than or equal to 0 square, that is 0. Here the hypothesis is 0 greater than or equal to 4 and the conclusion is 2 raised to 0 greater than or equal to 0. Here the hypothesis H is false. Therefore the implication H implies C is vacuously true. Now we consider the second case when n equal to 1. Then the implication becomes, if 1 greater than or equal to 4, then 2 raised to 1 is greater than or equal to 1 square, that is 1. Here the hypothesis 1 greater than or equal to 4 and the conclusion is 2 greater than or equal to 1. Here also the hypothesis H is false. H implies C is vacuously true. Now the third case n equal to 2, proposition becomes, if 2 greater than or equal to 4, then 2 raised to 2 greater than or equal to 2 square, that is 4. Here also the hypothesis is 2 greater than or equal to 4 and conclusion is 2 square greater than or equal to 4. Here also H is false. Therefore the result H implies C is vacuously true. And the fourth case when n equal to 3, then the statement is, if 3 greater than or equal to 4, then 2 raised to 3 greater than or equal to 3 square. Here also the hypothesis 3 greater than or equal to 4 is false. Therefore the implication H implies C is vacuously true. Second proof method is trivial proofs. Consider the implication H implies C. And suppose that the conclusion C is known to be true. Then H implies C is trivially true regardless of whether H is true or false. Let us go to an example. If x is a positive real number and n is any non-negative integer, then 1 plus x whole raised to n is greater than or equal to 1 plus nx. This is our implication. Here the hypothesis is x is a positive real number and n is any non-negative integer. And the conclusion is 1 plus x whole raised to n greater than or equal to 1 plus nx. Here consider the case when n equal to 0. Then our conclusion becomes 1 plus x whole raised to 0 is greater than or equal to 1 plus 0 into x, that is 0. Here 1 plus x raised to 0 is 1. 1 plus x is a real number and raised to 0 gives 1. So we have 1 is greater than or equal to 1, which is true. Therefore here the conclusion is true regardless of whether the hypothesis is true or false. Whether x is a positive real number or not, our conclusion is always true if n equal to 0. Therefore this result is trivially true when n equal to 0. Let us have some more problems. Determine if the implication is trivially true. The implication is, if n is a prime number, then n square plus n is an even integer. Here the hypothesis H is n is a prime number and the conclusion C is n square plus n is an even integer. Here consider the conclusion. If n equal to 0, then n square plus n also equal to 0, which can be considered as even. If n is an even integer, then n square is always even, and if we add two even integers, that is n square and n, again we will get an even integer. Therefore if n is even, then n square plus n is even. What happens if n is odd? If n is odd, then n square is also odd, and if we add two integers n square and n, which are both odd, then the sum becomes even. So here we see that if the integer is 0, even or odd, n square plus n is always even. Here to prove that the conclusion is true, we didn't use the condition that n is a prime number. Therefore, regardless of whether the hypothesis is true or false, here the conclusion is always true. Therefore, so we can conclude that the implication H implies C is trivially true. Next one. If n greater than or equal to 41, then n cube minus n is divisible by 3. Here the hypothesis is n greater than or equal to 41 and the conclusion is n cube minus n is divisible by 3. Here consider the conclusion n cube minus n is divisible by 3. We can write n cube minus n as n into n square minus 1. Factorizing n square minus 1, it is of the form a square minus b square. So we can factorize it as n minus 1 into n plus 1. So it becomes n into n minus 1 into n plus 1. Rearranging the terms, I can write it as a product n minus 1 into n plus 1. This is a product of three consecutive integers, n minus 1, n and n plus 1. We know that the product of three consecutive natural numbers is always divisible by 3. If you take any three consecutive natural numbers, say for example 19, 20, 21, then one of them is a multiple of 3. So here the conclusion is true always. And we didn't use the hypothesis H to prove the conclusion. So regardless of whether this H is true or false, C is always true. Therefore, we can conclude that the implication H implies C is trivially true. So today we studied about two proof methods, vacuous proofs and trivial proofs. Both these methods are used to prove some special cases of theorems. In the next class, we will study more proof methods.